Alright YouTube, welcome to part 6 of my huge RC trophy truck build. Not put a video on for a couple of months. I hope you're still around. I've been putting bits together, not had much time to do much, but I have mocked up where I'm at the moment to give you a bit of a clue. I know you've only seen me rattling bits of parts around on a workbench, but as you can see I had an intention and I knew what I was going to be doing, and this is kind of the result. I'm making the swing arms at the moment for the rear and still working on the front wishbones. Should have a couple of pieces back from the machinist to fit in, just like the gaps basically. The stuff that I can't do, I don't have the equipment for, so I found someone to help, and hopefully I'll be getting a few bits done that'll solve the problems that I've had over the last few months. Alright, let's go shaky camera mode and I'll give you a bit of a tour. Right, so I've fitted a battery box at the back. I've got a gel battery. What I have got, the connector, I'll also be able to use as a charging point. It was off a trickle charger that I had. It was just an extra cable, but it'll suit for that. This is a spare wheel carrier at the back that I still need to weld up, but the wheel then will sit like parallel to the rear frame and like hang over slightly at the back there. I think I'll be getting rid of that back section because I don't need it. When I do the rest of my 10mm tube work, I can strengthen that up and brace it and incorporate it into the main part of the frame. Still waiting for my adapters for my hubs, so obviously I've just put a wheel up to give you a clue. These are the swing arms I've been working on. I've been cut them out of a piece of pressed steel and just bent them to the shape that I need. I'll go into it more details in a later film, but it's just to give me I'm just working on ideas, so until I've mocked something up I don't really know what my next step will be. But you can see I've got a 1/2 inch rose joint at the end with a welding bung that's been fitted to a spine inside the swing arm, so we'll see how that goes on when I finish boxing it in. Got a pair of cloned Barger shocks from China, 8mm shafts, free shipping. I thought I'd get a pair and see how they work. I needed some to use for scale and for size. My intentions are to pair one of these up on each corner with the equivalent size integer shock, originally a Barger step up part, but I think it's definitely going to need 2 a corner, so I'll see what Father Christmas brings. Maybe I'll get a treat. And the fuel pump's in, just set back there. It's a low pressure, just a regular automotive 12-volt pump. If you can see it under there, let me move that wheel out of the way. And it's piped up and running a filter from the tank. The tank, as you can see, it was the back of an envelope drawing that a contractor I knew made for me, with a couple of outlets. I'm going to have to change the outlet. That rubber pipe at the moment is just a temporary thing when I was checking the pressure from it. Obviously, even though it's a low pressure pump, it will push out sort of 4 or 5 bar. So what I'm actually going to do is do a flow pass for the carb. So I've got a T set in here, so the fuel will constantly be flowing through. Obviously I'll vent the cap to keep the gas down, but this small T running to the carb, so it's never going to bust through the carb. It should be okay. The filter should be able to handle it. You see the carb set down there in the engine. What I needed was quite a rigid material to make servo plate and just a general mounting plate to keep everything up away from the floor and the exhaust, and to give me some space underneath. I've tried to run the balance of the water pipes. Obviously you can see there, that's the one from the top of the engine. It joins the flow there and then flows across the side of the radiator. the out from the in, sorry, for the engine is just underneath there. Comes from that side, the opposite side of the rad, and goes straight through. We'll see how that works. Anyway, the mounting plate that I finally found is an 8mm chopping board from a local supermarket. Really rigid plastic, obviously quite strong, and hardware, and light as well. So what I did is I shaped it up, fitted it to the existing frame I had. As you can see, I had to cut out there to get it in and out the post. It's a bit of a squeeze. You can get it in without once the engine's out. And obviously I'll cut another piece for the other half, but it's going to hold the servos quite well. I've also strengthened underneath, you can see a plate that obviously takes the servo. That pipe there is the feed from the hydraulic reservoir into the master cylinder. I've got a cylinder off a YZ125, whole thing like, but it should be right, and that'll run the back brake, which is piped along here, and you can just make it out, I think. There, the shining gold Brembo, just mounted to the rear lay shaft carriers that I've got. The disc is on a 25mm hub, original go-kart sort of wheel hub that I've adapted the disc for, and the same will go with the chain wheel that'll be mounted to either the other side of that or a separate one, just with a slot obviously to hold it to the shaft. So the servo, I've mounted one that I had lying about for size, for scale, if nothing else. Just gives me an idea of my points for obviously making a servo horn to fit that particular master cylinder. The top of the engine, I've made a small plate, and what I'm going to do is make like a spider arrangement, like a cross that comes down to another plate on the top and is welded and fits in the corners of each of this square, so that I can basically get the engine out, and then obviously when I put it in, I can put it in and fit the plate over the top. I just bolt it straight through there and have it hung on the corner points there, 4 sides, to keep it quite rigid. Got to put a bolt up on here to take that reservoir, but the pipe work that came with the caliper and the brake master cylinder, it'll work, I think. It looks well going through the actual mounting board. I have got some spacers to fit, just to lift the master cylinder up a little more, and obviously it'll fill that gap and take any slap away. If it gets a bit of torque on it, it'll quite easily move it. Right, I'll get back. I'm going to be on it again. I'll have plenty of things that I can show and tell about, so as soon as I get a chance, I'll stick the next video on, and hopefully keep watching, subscribe, tell your friends, because I don't. Peace.